Hey, welcome to the Sports Reverends podcast. My name is Dan.
And my name's Drew.
We're no experts, but we are
the Sports Reverends.
We are back for the Sports Reverends podcast. Thanks for tuning in today. We're joined with the coach. How you doing?
Coach is good. It rained about a lake today, but that's all right.
And of course, we got Sports Reverend Drew. What's good?
Well, yeah, I was dealing with the rain all day. We had to be indoors, but with all the heat we've been having, we needed some rain. So,
how are you?
Oh, thanks for asking. I'm doing well too. We had a little bit of rain here in Toronto. We still, wife and I still went to the driving range and toughed it out, but it was still a good time. We have a bunch of quick hitter news around the sports world, and let's get into it. Rajon Rondo is out 6 to 8 weeks having surgery on his thumb.
Patty Mills and Dwight Howard are donating their salaries to charity.
The NFL has banned jersey swaps due to COVID-19 fears.
The Blue Jays have officially signed Austin Martin with a $7 million signing bonus.
The Brooklyn Nets have signed Jamal Crawford and Michael Beasley to fill in roster spots.
The Washington Redskins are retiring their logo and nickname and will debut a new team name and logo this year.
Several prominent NHLers have decided to opt out of the playoffs. Now, let's hear a word from our sponsors.
Have you ever thought about how well your investments are performing? Have you wanted to understand how the stock market works and how you can look after your financial future, but have been unsure of where or even how to get started? Train to Invest is North America's leading investment education and training corporation, with the sole purpose of providing a new way of thinking about wealth management. Through teaching, training, and coaching individuals in both the art and science of self-directed investing, Train to Invest offers a complete education and training experience to empower families to begin their journey of planning for future generations through investment education. To find out more, look at www.traintoinvest.com and download our free ebook. Again, www.train2invest.com to find more information about our program and download our free ebook.
All right, we have a Mumble Fumble update. If you don't know what Mumble Fumble is, basically if we mispronounce a word or a name or give a fact, there's a Mumble Fumble right there. Just cut that out. We'll start again. 3, 2, 1.
Count, by the way.
We have a Mumble Fumble update. If you don't know what Mumble Fumble is, basically if we, as the Sports Reverends and coach, mispronounce a word and or a name, also if we give a fact that isn't true, we will rack up points. And the goal of the game is to have the least amount of points, because the loser, who has the most points, has to do a full TikTok dance routine. And if anyone knows us, none of us can dance very well. And this would be very embarrassing.
I don't even think any of us have that app on our phone.
That's true. But we will figure it out, and the loser is going to have to do a full TikTok dance routine, and this is going to be a punishment. So here's the updated stats. At third place, who is winning, is Drew Martin, sitting at 4 Mumble Fumbles.
Oh, 4. Oh, boy.
Oh, that was 2 up from last week.
In second place is Sports Reverend Dan, also sitting at 4 Mumble Fumbles.
Are you counting Buddy? That doesn't count.
That wasn't counted as one, but there's another Buddy sighting.
Then how did you say I was winning then, if we're tied at 4?
Because we're both winning. Because the person losing is the coach, sitting at 5 Mumble Fumbles. And that all can change in a show, which it probably will. So
I'm gonna
stay
find
tuned
the
to us.
hardest
We
name
actually
to
had for Drew, we had someone send in one of his mumble fumbles, talking about
What was it?
the up and coming rookie that everyone wants to tank for in the NHL.
Lafreniere.
Yes, and I guess you were referring to him as playing in the center position, but he's actually a left winger. So someone's listening. All right, someone's keeping us accountable.
We should give him a shout out.
Yeah, well, I'll give him a shout out. His name's Colin Beauchamp, and he's been loyal since day one. So thanks, Colin Beauchamp, and shout out to you for
No friend of mine.
from Thunder Bay, Ontario. Okay, all right. Let's get into our first topic of the day. What is each NBA contender's fatal flaw? Now, we've had some discussion of who are actually contenders. I think everyone can agree on the Lakers, the Clippers, the Bucks. But we also added in the Raptors, the Celtics, the Rockets, the Nuggets, and the 76ers. So let's go through this. I'm going to throw it to you, Coach, first.
Sure. Do you want me to go through all of them or just one of them?
Pick a team and let's go through them.
Sure.
And pick at them.
Let's start with the Lakers. I'll leave the easy ones for you guys, but I think, in my personal opinion, aside from having LeBron and Anthony Davis on the court, it come crunch time, who do you surround them with? They have no idea. During the regular season, they had so many guys moving in and out of the lineup. Now you don't have Avery Bradley, you don't have Rondo. Come crunch time, sure, you can run and pick and roll with AD and LeBron, but you got to have guys who can knock down shots. Got to have guys who can make that play when called upon. You look at the Raptors run; guys from all over the place stepped up. Mrs. Van Fleet, she had a kid, and Freddie was on fire. Right?
That's true.
So, if you look through most championship runs, there comes one or two games where the guy off the bench will steal your points, steal your game. I just have a hard time seeing the depth of the Lakers pushing them over that hump. I think, for me, that's their fatal flaw. Yeah, they got LeBron and AD, two of the top 5 players in the game. But come crunch time, that's a whole different story. What do you think, Dan?
Before I say anything, I'll just ask you, so are you not relying on Dion Waiters and J.R. Smith and Danny Green to hit shots? Alex Caruso?
Out of those 4, Caruso doesn't have much experience. Danny Green, I see that.
You trust Danny Green.
But he was ice cold for most of the playoffs last year.
That's true.
It felt like, right?
Yeah.
Dion Waiters is called Waiters Island for a reason. I don't know if this guy knows how to play defense.
Okay.
He's just a runner. And J.R. Smith, oh boy.
Remember game 1? He's going to make up for his mistake.
No. I feel J.R. Smith has probably been smoking so much weed and drinking so much Hennessy. He just got signed because he's LeBron's bro. I have no faith in J.R. Smith. None. Absolutely none. 0.
You know what? I actually do have some faith in J.R. Smith. I think their biggest problem is someone to run the offense when LeBron's not on the floor. I think they have enough pieces around LeBron and AD. Like two of the top 5 players in the league, no other team has that. And basically, they have enough around him. Like LeBron's going to run that offense. There's enough shooters. And I think they're going to be okay with that. But the depth, yeah, you're right. They have the other Morris brother as well. The depth, yeah, it may be an issue. But the problem is someone else to run the offense when LeBron's not on the floor. I don't know who they're going to ask. Is it going to be J.R. Smith? Is it going to be Alex Caruso? I don't know. But I think that's my biggest shot to the Lakers. What do you think, Drew?
Yeah, that was going to be what I was going to say is a true point guard. I know LeBron plays a lot of point when he's on the floor, but they don't really have anyone else to handle the ball that much, and that's going to be hard. Like, you look at the Raptors team last year; they had 3 or 4 guys that could
Absolutely
bring the ball up between Freddie, Norman, and Kyle, right? So, yeah, I think that's where I was calling for Collison, but I guess with the rules, like you said, they had to be in the league in the last year or whatever.
Yeah, there's some stipulations that they have to be either like playing in a contract in the NBA last year or something like that.
So I was wondering the whole year, like, how they weren't begging Darren Collison to come out of retirement, because he seems like he would be a perfect fit for.
He was close though.
Yeah,
he was close. I mean, Jay Lynn is still out there. He's a manageable point guard. I know a lot of people dog on him for his defense, mobility, and whatever, but the guy's an NBA player.
He should be in the league.
He's destroying teams in China.
Okay, I think that's pretty good for the Lakers, though. I think there's still no question a contender, obviously, but I wouldn't want to play the Portland Trail Blazers in the first round if that happens, especially because they're the weakness of the Lakers. Tough guards on the Blazers, like they're gonna.
Don't put anything past Lillard, right?
That's right.
At Dame time, they still got 2 weeks to sign somebody though, right? So that's time.
That's true. They also have Quinn Cook, another clutch shooter. So they have enough shooting, I think, but we'll see. Who's next?
Let's do the Clippers. For me, I think the overall theme we can all agree on for the Clippers is chemistry. The amount of games that Paul George and Kawhi have played together, and run in tandem, not just being like, okay, it's my turn as Kawhi to go one-on-one, my turn as PG to go one-on-one, but playing together and playing efficiently has been very limited. It was just the last maybe 2-3 weeks before everything stopped that the Clippers are really starting to see, like the last 10 games, they were really starting to click, really starting to groove. But you wonder, can they, because they've added a bunch of new pieces at the trade deadline, right? Can they make this work? They got a Morris brother. They got the kid from Detroit. Oh, what's his name now?
Reggie Jackson.
Yeah, Reggie Jackson. Like, there's a bunch of new pieces they got to fit. Plus, you got the whole COVID thing. Like, for me, that's a concern because if you look at again, I'm going to base a lot of these things on the Raptors run. They had a lot of team continuity. They just added one player who kind of changed things, but a lot of the guys already knew each other. A lot of guys have played with each other for a couple of seasons. And when you come to the playoffs, that is a huge, huge, huge factor on your success or not. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I agree with you. That's probably their biggest hindrance. They're probably the team that has the least weaknesses in every position.
Yeah, they're deep. They are deep.
The one thing I will attack them as if I'm a coach is that I don't trust in their rim protection. If I'm the Lakers, if I'm the Nuggets, I'm attacking them down low. I'm going to the hoop and taking if I can get Harrell out of the game, they especially don't have much rim protection after that.
Got Joakim Noah now.
Yeah, Grandpa Noah. Yeah, that's what I would go with is rim protection, but definitely agree with the chemistry aspect. What do you think, Drew?
Yeah, I need to start going before Dan because I was going to say size is probably their biggest flaw, especially right now. They'd be 2 against 7 going against Dallas. Dallas has a lot more size with Porzingis, and even if they bring in Boban, do the Clippers have an answer to stop Boban?
Does anybody have an answer?
Yes.
Boban is the best player per minute in the league. I saw
an Instagram video, and he was just draining threes like nobody's business. It was ridiculous.
It's just unfair.
But I actually like that matchup for the Clippers a lot. I like the matchup of what the Mavericks have to beat the Clippers for sure.
That's a tough first round. I wouldn't want to play the Mavericks at all.
That's not an easy out. Not at all.
I think it's going to be a big wake up call for for someone like LeBron, the toughness of the West. This will for sure be his. Will for sure be his toughest first round ever.
Yeah, he sleepwalks through all the first rounds all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
Honestly.
Okay, who we got next? Let's
stay in the West. Let's go with the Nuggets. Drew, do you want to talk about the Nuggets first?
Nuggets. Drew thinks the Nuggets are like the kings of the world. So I don't know if we should even talk to him about it. But go ahead, Drew.
Yeah, I don't really see a flaw with the Denver Nuggets. No, I think their flaw would be experience. Their team is super young. Yeah. They do have Paul Millsap, who brings a lot of experience there. But other than
underrated.
Other than Millsap, I think their team is mostly under 25, 26 years old. And I think in the playoffs, especially with the older teams getting a lot of rest before the playoffs, having the veteran leadership is really going to help. So I don't know what the young guys on the Nuggets have been up to during this time off, but I think that's their biggest flaw. If they come in prepared, I can see them like they're signed up to, or they're lined up to play the Rockets right now, which will be a tough series.
Yeah.
But yeah, if they come in focused, I don't think the Rockets really have an answer for what Jokic brings. So, but the biggest flaw would be inexperience.
Yeah. Not many people do have an answer for Jokic. I don't like.
That's true.
He's really amazing. So
yeah.
What do you think, Dan?
Yeah, I'll go. One of the biggest advantages the Nuggets have always had was being in Denver and having the what?
You read my mind.
So yeah, it's being in Denver and having that altitude working in their favor. So they won't have that. But then another thing is, who is going to be their guy that just needs to get them a bucket in the half court? If Jokic, it's either got to be Jokic or Murray. I just don't. It's a superstar-driven league at the end of the day, right? Can Jokic and Murray get you that bucket when you need it over and over in the clutch times, in the half court, when the ball's not, when the offense is slowed down and every dribble is just like intense? Can these guys get it done? And honestly, I think that's what it comes down to for a team like the Nuggets. So.
Yeah, obviously those two are the two major talking points for this Nuggets team: experience, not having the altitude, and even the who's gonna get a bucket. I know Jokic has dropped about 40 pounds. They've said, yeah, and the concern
COVID or training. Okay.
Who knows? Probably eating less junk food would probably be step one.
Yeah.
But the question is, if losing that weight, can he still throw his body around in a low block and be as effective, or guys will push him out, right? Denver is a really, really interesting team. They are on the precipice of just really, really pushing into the next level. And if the rankings stay the same and they do play Houston, and if they somehow upset Houston, I think they could potentially go on a tear, because that'll just instill a lot of confidence in that team. But I agree with Drew. The biggest thing is the experience. Paul Millsap has been one of the most underrated players in the NBA for
his whole career.
Atlanta. He's been so good. It's been criminal how underrated this guy has been over and over and over and over again. And if he doesn't have a good playoffs, I can bet you the Nuggets won't be very good.
I wanted to add one thing to the Nuggets thing too. It's like, to me, they have so many solid role players, but not enough players that are above role players, that are like the next step up between obviously, starter and just a reliable bench guy. And if I'm the Denver Nuggets, like I would try to move some of those pieces to try to get some upgraded 6, 7, 8 players, those kind of roles, and or if you can move some of those guys to even get a new starter, right?
I don't think you have to change much to their starting lineup though. Like
Because
if
you
you got
can't you can't forget about
Jokic, Millsap, Will Barton, who's a solid player, Gary Harris and Jamal Murray. And then you got what's his name coming off Jeremy Grant.
Jeremy Grant's good, yeah. Michael
Coming
Porter
off the
Jr.
bench. Monte Morris can get you buckets. Torrey Craig can
They're
play.
like, you know what I mean though?
But
they're
they've got
worthy
enough
NBA
I think
players.
they've got enough in that starting lineup.
Yeah,
But here's
maybe.
the thing,
Will
Dan.
Barton can get you 30 on any given night.
Yeah. Here's the thing. You also can't. A lot of times you have to forget. You can't forget about the salary cap, but you also have to remember internal development. A lot of times people look at teams and are like, they need to get a new this kind of player, I need this kind of player. But there's guys within the system who are coming up who are going to make that leap, like Michael Porter Jr.
Yeah, he could. Definitely
Right? He can make that jump. And they have a bunch of younger guys who can make that leap, especially when you hit that 23, 24, 25 stage. A lot of guys, it just clicks, right? You've been in the NBA a couple of years. You've practiced the same team, run the same offense. It clicks. And that makes it that much easier to jump to that next level. I agree with you in the fact that they're not like the Pistons when they won the championship with 4 quote-unquote all-stars, but utility guys. Those guys were 4 really good players, like B+, and above players, right? The Nuggets don't quite have that in terms of retrospect, in terms of comparing the two teams. Yeah. But I think they're set up for a good couple of years.
Yeah.
With the internal development, because we don't have Golden State this year in the playoffs, right?
It's just like almost like the Raptors team before Kawhi, right? You just need to like pull a trigger to put them over the top, in my opinion.
But I wouldn't panic just yet,
right?
Because you have to wait for some internal development. The Raptors, they had a bunch of playoff upsets that showed the limitations of that team. You weren't winning a championship with DeMar and Kyle and Valanciunas. You weren't. You just weren't. And, kudos to them for maxing out their ability, but that was the reality of the situation. So I think you got to see where this Denver team give them 1 or 2 more years.
Well, Paul. Speaking of Paul Millsap, he's an unrestricted free agent at the end of the year. That's, you know how much they're paying him? $30 million.
Yeah, that's wild.
Is coming off the books. And not that I would want them to really lose Paul Millsap. I don't think they'll be able to pay him the kind of money he wants. But you put that into two solid players there.
Yeah, for sure.
Then they're just gonna have more. Like, there's not enough playing time for all these players. You know what I mean?
True. But use that cap space and you sign somebody else and then trade away somebody else. It's got to be that much money coming off the books. There is multiple avenues to move forward.
There's got to be someone like Michael Porter Jr. who rises to the next level. I don't see many of the other guys on that team that are off the bench that doing that. But Michael Porter Jr. could be the one that could be the almost like an OG Anunoby who's stepping up for the Raptors. But okay. That's just my thoughts.
No, that's fair. That's fair. Our last contender in the West, Houston. Drew, do you want to go first?
I'll go first.
Okay.
Pretty simply.
Take everybody's idea.
Yeah, pretty simply.
Don't take my Rockets, idea.
They're small. They're small.
They are small.
And but honestly, it's got to be on. Like I said, it's a superstar-driven league. I'm a little bit of a conspiracy theorist when it comes to it, too. James Harden and Westbrook are going to get more calls than ever before because they got to keep the superstars in the game and superstars at the focal point for this TV drama to be better. And I'm a little bit of a conspiracy theorist that way, but it's got to be on Harden and Westbrook to finish out games for them to win. That's what it comes down to. Nothing else. It's Harden making those final shots to take him to the next level. And they don't have to worry about any super Warriors team anymore. So I guess, I don't know. I guess there's the Battle of LA that they still have to worry about. But this is the time. So that's what I'd say.
I'd even narrow that down more. I think their biggest flaw they'll have to overcome is Russell Westbrook. I think if Russell Westbrook can get out of his own way, because he is one of the worst shooters I've ever seen of the basketball, and he still chucks up so many shots. Yeah. When he can get to wherever he wants on the floor anytime he wants. Yeah. If he can drive and dish to all day, take less shots, he'll get calls going to the foul line. He's to sharpen up his free throw shooting as well. Like his shooting all around this year has been pretty horrendous. Subpar.
Yeah.
And it's gotten worse every year. I'm pretty sure that he's been in the league, which is odd.
Very strange.
But I think if he just says, I'm going to get to the rim or I'm going to drive and dish, he'll give Houston a good chance to win. But history shows us he doesn't want to do that.
Yeah.
So
he's shooting 25%, 25.4% from 3-point land.
Yeah.
And 77.7% on his free throws.
Yeah.
Which is wild for a superstar.
Right.
So
superstar point guard.
So you think if Westbrook becomes a little bit more efficient in his shooting and sticks to what he's good at,
right,
they have a shot?
Yeah.
Here's the thing.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Mike D'Antoni even said himself, if we don't rebound and play defense, this whole system's going to fall apart.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're looking at a Houston team, which I think D'Antoni doesn't have a contract extension.
Nope. He's on a –
right? So this is his last year.
On the hot seat.
And they traded away Clint Capella, his dependable center. He's been given a tough hand here. So they have to make the small ball work. And I think on the small ball side, on the offense, sure, you can spread them out as much as you want. But if you come up against a team with a center who actually has some post moves, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
On the defensive end, if it's, a giant among the shrubs rebounding, you're going to give up a ton of offensive rebounds.
Right.
I just don't think, based on last year, Houston has the makeup to stay this small ball all the way through the playoffs. And additionally, here's the thing. And another thing is, think about 4 rounds. 4 rounds of small ball. How much pain is it going to go through that? That's a lot of bumping and grinding. It's going to wear guys down. If Harden has to all of a sudden start boxing out and play more defense, that's going to wear him down.
Yeah.
Right? So I think if they can do it, if they can stay focused, they have a chance. And I think the key piece is, can Westbrook be efficient? Drew's absolutely right. And I was talking to you the other day, Daniel. If he attacks the rim, great. If he drives and kicks, great. If he doesn't settle for pull-up threes, great.
His mid-range, top of the free throw line. It's nice.
His mid-range is money. If he attacks that rim and then pulls up for the free throw line, boom, that's an automatic 2 points.
Just for everyone to know, that was the coach's go-to shot in high school basketball. Dribble penetration, pull up at the corner of the free throw line, and cash it in. Just had to throw that out there.
I appreciate the shout out, and let me just frame that picture for all you newbie basketball players right now. Back then, there was no launching threes. It was, the 3-pointer was slowly being brought up in the high school game. So my 3-point shot was terrible. So I needed to go to the free throw line. So that wraps up Houston. Let's look at
I'm also a believer in the Rockets, by the way. I know you guys aren't a believer. I'm a believer.
How far? Call it right now. How far is Houston going?
It's hard to know the matchups right now.
It's
hard to know the matchups right now.
The way they are right now.
Wherever they hit LA. Where are they right now?
They're facing Denver first round.
Yeah, they're beating Denver, in my opinion.
Okay. So you're thinking Western Conference semis.
So they would play the Clippers second round.
Yeah, they hit the Clippers and they're losing. But if they don't get the Clippers in the second round somehow, If they face any team other than LA in the second round, they're moving forward. My opinion. Conference final.
You see, I don't trust that Westbrook's going to get out of his own way, and I don't see them getting out of the first round if they play Denver.
All right. Well,
because what is Houston going to do with Jokic?
They're gonna run. They're gonna run.
PJ Tucker can only do so much.
Run. I know, but they're just gonna run and make Jokic play small. How is Jokic gonna cover PJ Tucker? Has to move him out.
He's
to
40 pounds lighter.
He has to move him out to the 3-point line, and what does that do? Open up the whole key.
They're not playing a 5-out, Daniel.
Millsap's bigger.
That's what they do.
Bigger than anybody too.
Exactly. So you got to run. You run, push the ball, and then and bring him out to the 3-point line and attack him by driving the lane.
See, that's a recipe for disaster for Westbrook.
Denver's a good defensive team.
He will play out of control.
Well, we'll see, boys. I'm telling you. Who's stopping Harden?
Let's table that.
Okay.
And let's look at the 76ers.
Ooh.
Our dark horse on the east side.
Yeah.
I can go first.
Sure.
Give you guys some time to think about this. I think for the 76ers, the problem that plagued them last year is plaguing them again this year. Fit. Al Horford, Joel Embiid, Ben Simmons is just a terrible fit. I know they brought on Al Horford to stop Giannis because he had a decent go at it last year. But Embiid just needs space in the post. This Horford-Embiid mix is just not looking good. Sure, the stats may say otherwise, but the eyeball test, when you watch them play, Embiid is not a great three-point shooter. Horford's not a great three-point shooter. Ben Simmons has sneezed more three-pointers in than he's shot.
That's not true.
I'm being facetious.
Okay.
And then you toss in Tobias Harris and whoever plays point for
shooter.
Yeah, but they all clog the paint, right?
Yeah.
They put Ben Simmons in the quote-unquote dunker spot last year, and that was without Horford. And then I think I saw on a post today that Brett Brown's been playing Ben Simmons at 4. So, like, what is going on in Philadelphia? I just don't think the roster Elton Brand has not done a good job of putting this roster together. Okay?
Whoa. Okay.
Yeah, no, I'm saying it. I don't care. Elton Brand has not done a good job, and the fit has been terrible. And, yeah, I think it's going to blow up in their faces. I think it's going to blow up in their faces. That's my hot take. Philadelphia, no faith whatsoever.
Drew, you go.
Yeah, like I was going to talk about, like, they're just too clogged up in the post there. Like we've seen it last year. Simmons and Embiid don't mesh well together because they need to be in the same spots to be effective. And then you just add in Al Horford, and that doesn't work either. I've never been a huge Al Horford fan to begin with, but I do like Tobias Harris, but I don't think he can carry a team.
No.
And yeah, so yeah, I don't see them getting very far. I'm not a believer.
And you know what? As it stands, they faced the Celtics in the first round. They could be bounced in the first round.
Yeah, for sure.
Can you imagine that? Brett Brown is gone if they had bounced in the first round. He's absolutely gone.
Well, we said that before.
Then they're definitely trading Simmons for Chris Paul, and then that's gonna happen.
That's just foolishness.
Let's
stop
not.
it. Just stop it.
Just watch. I'm a great GM, boys.
You really aren't.
Maybe on NBA 2K.
Yeah, even on there, I'd debate about that.
Just watch.
Okay, before I defend the Sixers, I'll break them down. Yes, absolutely. I don't think actually. I think the roster's put together okay. The problem is what you guys should have been alluding to is Brett Brown. The system that he's running obviously hasn't been working. But to me, it's almost like Brett Brown got them to this point, and like we've been relating everything to the Raptors, just like Dwayne Casey got the Raptors to a point. And it's almost a time for a Nick Nurse signing for the 76ers for them to go to the next level.
Wait, can I have a question for you?
Okay.
Did you know Nick Nurse was going to be a good coach?
Obviously not, no.
Okay, I'm just asking.
But I believe in Masai, right? That's just
No, I'm just asking.
that's
I'm
just
just
me.
asking.
So anyways, so that's the biggest problem to me is Brett Brown. He's got to be innovative, be creative, and basically for them to do well, I think Embiid's got to play like a beast. So he's got to come in with that fire instead of like needing Shaq and Chuck to call him out on national TV and for him to play good for the next few games and then stop after that. So he's got to come out on fire, okay, ready, like hungry. But honestly, it all rests on Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons has to be in attack mode. He's a little too passive on the offensive end. He's totally stepped up defensively. Defensively, he's a beast. And there's enough shooters now around for the Sixers to spread the offense of a mix of pick and roll with Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid, and also just Ben Simmons driving to the hoop and kicking to one of those shooters. Because Ben Simmons is one of those talents that shouldn't be questioned. He's still going to get better, and he's still already where he is with how good he is and how much he's actually improved a lot. Okay, he's improved a lot. Just his shooting hasn't improved a lot. Well, his shooting might have improved. We just don't know because he's too scared to shoot it, and maybe that's on Brett Brown. But everywhere else, he's really improved, from handles to and for me, it's the biggest thing is defensively. They also picked up a couple bench guys from the Warriors. Do you guys remember who that was?
Alec Burks.
Yeah, Alec Burks and Glenn Robinson III. So their bench is not bad too. Those are another guys that can shoot. And
Shake Milton.
Yeah, but if those guys are on the court, then who you're sitting? Tobias Harris? You're sitting Horford?
Josh Richardson.
Right? Like,
well, I'm just saying for their bench, you got to like have a bench, especially.
No, I know, but like, I think, but that the whole point is you want to play your best players most of the time.
Yeah.
And that fit just doesn't work.
Well, it can work. It really can work. Horford can stretch. Embiid has to be aggressive, and it's on Simmons to facilitate. He's got to take that step. Yeah, and this is my call, is that the Sixers, in ranking team toughness, okay, I'm taking the Bucks at 1A, the Raptors at 1B, and number 3 is the Sixers.
Like toughness in what way?
In the top 3 teams in the East.
No, like as in like the best 3, or like tough as in gonna fight you?
Wow. The best 3.
That is stupid.
I'm taking the Sixers.
Okay.
I'm a believer.
You live in Toronto. The smog's getting to you.
Honestly, I thought like that was always a big thing in Winnipeg. Like thinking Toronto has such like bad air, and then when I got here, I was like, oh, it's not like that.
Well, it's because you're used to it by now.
I know, I guess. All right, next team.
Let's roll on to Boston. Now,
okay.
Boston's a weird team overall because you could say their biggest fatal flaw is Gordon Hayward. But for me, I'm going to pick Kemba Walker.
Wow.
But based on the experience thing, the guy only has 11 playoff games under his belt. So if we're going to use the experience thing for the Nuggets, Kemba Walker is going to be a bit of an issue. I mean, look at the All-Star game. He had, in that fourth quarter, he had so many opportunities to hit wide open threes, and he tanked them all. So for me, I think, not that I'm saying that Kemba Walker is a bad player, but if he doesn't ball out, Jason Tatum isn't taking this team past the first round. They need a strong performance from Kemba. And I'm 50-50 right now on Kemba's ability to do that. Only because he has no track record.
But didn't Kemba make a big run in March Madness? Like, when he was
Yeah,
in
he
that
college?
was
He won.
yeah, that was. But he had Charlie Villanueva. He had. Oh no. I'm thinking of the wrong team. I'm thinking of the
It
wrong
was
team.
UConn.
Yeah, UConn. But I'm thinking the old UConn team,
Oh.
not Kemba's team. I was thinking, what's his face? Charlie V, Ben Gordon.
Ben Gordon.
Who's the guy who had drafted before Dwight? Emeka Okafor.
Yeah, Emeka
That's the
Okafor.
team I was thinking about.
Yeah.
Bobcats.
Yeah.
Okay,
Mistake.
I think you got good points there for the Celtics. I probably am a Kemba believer that All-Star game is one game. I trust him to be probably the focal point of their offense because he can get buckets. It's Kemba Walker. I think their biggest downfall is size. They don't have enough size.
Taco Fall.
And who?
Taco Fall.
Yeah. Okay. And so size and rim protection. You got to have rim protection in the playoffs, and they have some of the best 3-and-D guys, especially wing guys that are long and athletic. But you got to have a big who can protect the paint. And I'm not trusting Enes Kanter. So
I don't know. I mean,
Tice, yeah.
we'll see. If Montrezl Harrell can be considered a good center, Tice could be.
No. Stop it. Stop it.
That's a bit foolish.
Yeah.
Drew.
Yeah, I really like the way the Celtics are put together. Like I like their starting five. I like their depth. My biggest question would be Jason Tatum in the playoffs. He's still a young guy.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that I'm expecting him to fall apart in the playoffs, but I think that might be one of the flaws I'd look at.
Fair enough.
Yeah, but I really like Jason Tatum. I like his game. When he's on, he's one of the best players in the league.
Because he just signed a big contract this last year, right?
Yeah.
So he's gonna have to step up and really prove that he's worth the money.
Yeah, but I'd love to see Gordon Hayward get back to where he was.
Yes.
That
man.
I used to love watching Gordon Hayward play. So
Gordon Hayward also might miss a few games because of his. He's expected to have a son, or I think a son, a kid.
His wife's expecting.
His wife's expecting right at the beginning of the start of the season, so that could play a role.
That could be huge. That
he
could be
the first round. Round against the Sixers, right? So
yeah, that's
okay. What's next? Let's go. Let's roll through these next two.
Let's take a look at the Bucks.
Okay, I'll go.
Go ahead.
Bucks. I guess the biggest problem for the Bucks, like they're built really well. The whole team's built around Giannis. The problem is you pack the paint against Giannis, and you have to force Bledsoe and Middleton to carry them.
Yeah,
that's what we saw last year. We've seen it in bits this year, especially that Lakers Bucks game. That was a good showing of their weak points. This last one, and that's what you got to do to beat them. So trusting those other guys to step up for Giannis is their biggest weakness, which isn't a bad thing to have as your biggest weakness. So what's next?
I was gonna say secondary scoring for sure.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I think we all agree on that one. That's the Bucks' biggest weakness. The defense is great. Giannis is awesome. If they can churn out some easy offense with their D, that'll ease the secondary scoring problems. But if Bledsoe comes out shooting blanks, that's gonna be a terrible contract.
Classic Bledsoe in the playoffs, right?
Oh, I don't know.
So we'll see. Okay,
all right. Last but not least, the Toronto Raptors, and I'm gonna go out on a hot take here, and it's very similar to Jason Tatum, but can Siakam really put together a strong playoff run? Last year, they let everything – Kawhi took over when they needed it. Now the mantle has been put onto Siakam. He signed a big money contract. All the team defense – remember, in playoffs, the defense is – the game slows down. Defenses get better. They're all going to be geared towards stopping Siakam because if you can shut him down, the Raptors are dead. Right. I don't care.
Debatable.
No, it's not.
Not debatable.
Debatable.
No, it's not.
They score as a team. Come on.
If Siakam has a terrible
He averages 23.
Yeah, but if Siakam is having a bad game, the likelihood of the Raptors winning decreases significantly. Is that fair?
Well, you can say that about any superstar on any team, right?
No, but
LeBron's
especially
having a
this
bad
Raptors.
game.
No, if LeBron has a bad game, Davis can just tear it up still, and they have a big chance of winning.
Okay,
If
that's fair.
Siakam plays very poor, if Siakam has a bad series, the Raptors will be in trouble. And for me,
Yeah.
I don't want to doubt Siakam because I doubted him at the beginning of the year, and he shoved it in my face.
Yeah.
He shoved it in my face, and I will gladly say that that was on me. And I really don't want to doubt him in the playoffs, but if he doesn't play well, Raptors are in trouble.
Okay. That's fair. That's fair. Drew,
Yeah.
you go.
Yeah, I was gonna say Siakam too, but I think Kyle Lowry again needs to fight some of his playoff demons that he showed before last year.
Can he do it again?
Yeah, can he do it again?
Yeah.
With his, I think this time off will be good for him. Like he was playing most minutes of any player in the league.
Yeah,
like up over 40 minutes a game. So I think this time off will be good for him. He's a bulldog, but playoff time is a different beast. And without Kawhi there taking a lot of the attention, like he's the second guy, right?
Yeah.
So teams are going to be looking at Siakam, and we will look at Lowry. So can he handle that?
Yeah,
Final word.
This is tough. I like that take, Drew. And I think for me, my answer is a mix of both of them.
Boo.
At the end of the game,
Clutch time, yeah.
it's all about the end game for the Raptors. I think they're really strong across the board, but like we said, it's a superstar league, and the superstars are the ones that take your team to the next level, take your team to the next round. So can those all-stars do that? It's on them. It's on them. I think the team is strong enough and the coaching is great enough for them to have that chance. I think Nick Nurse is like an unbelievable coach, unbelievably good. And to me, I think that gives them an opportunity. But yes, it has to be Lowry, Siakam in those end game situations to take them over the hump. So,
But I think with the Raps, the one thing they do have, they got a bunch of guys in the clutch who can be good, like Norm Powell, Fred VanVleet,
yep.
Siakam, Lowry, even Gasol. Those are 5 guys that 4.5 with Powell, but like those are 5 guys.
Powell's good. Powell's good.
Yeah. Those are 5 guys that you can trust to be like, I need 2 points. Who do I give the ball to? If the play breaks down, I don't mind Marc Gasol going for 2 points in the post.
Nope.
Dude's got moves. He dropped half his weight, it looks like. But I think that's a good wrap up of our basketball talk here. If you guys have any sort of feedback, if you think we're crazy on some points, agree with us, let us know on our Instagram. I think we'll put up a poll on our website later about who is gonna be the top 4 remaining, and we'll hear a word from our sponsors.
Samara and Jane is an Australian-based accessories retailer with all of the latest fashion trends from around the world. Ladies, update your style game with gorgeous earrings, necklaces, and other jewelry for affordable prices. And guys, you can shop for that special lady in your life too. Use discount code SPORTSREV30 for 30% off your entire order. That's SPORTSREV30 for 30% off your entire order. Use discount code at checkout at samaraandjane.com.
All right, we are back for the Sports Reverends podcast. So we had a question that's been going around. This NBA championship, is it legitimate or does it deserve an asterisk? A few players have come out and said, like Giannis has said, this might be the toughest championship to ever win because of the circumstances. There's been others that have been saying that, is this championship even a real championship? So what are your thoughts? What are our thoughts? What do we think, boys?
I can go first because, as many of you know, I love the Spurs. Huge Spurs fan, pretty much since I came to Canada and understood what basketball was. So their first championship was in the shortened season. in 99. And many people were like, oh, it's an asterisk season, blah, 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 blah. All sorts of garbage. And at the end of the day, you still have to win games. You still have to play through, whether it's a shortened regular season or now with COVID and then playing in a bubble, you still have to win games. And there's all the rounds they're going through. And so I think it's really unfair to say any championship season should have an asterisk, because you could say that for pretty much any season. Like last year, you could say, oh, Kevin Durant was hurt, Klay Thompson was hurt. The Raptors should have an asterisk by their championship as well. So I think it's really silly because the guys are putting in tons of work and they still have to win those games, to still have to perform. And yeah, I don't think you should to dilate and say, hey, your championship is worth less than somebody else who played 82 games. Because let's be real, playoffs is already a whole new season anyway. It's always considered, as soon as you hit the playoffs, things reset. Whatever was going on in the regular season doesn't matter. It's all about getting to the playoffs and making that run. So that's just my opinion. Yeah, what do you guys think?
Yeah, I think we've seen enough. I think we played enough of the regular season to know what teams are deserving of being in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think there can be an argument there of, oh, a team made it to the playoffs that shouldn't have. And in basketball, let's be real, like there's really only 4 or 5 teams that have a chance to win. And we knew that coming into the season. And those teams are in. They're still getting 7-game series, right?
Absolutely.
All throughout. And I think that's why we play 7-game series, is because the best team comes out on top.
Right.
And that's how it's going to be. And I think to crown a championship this year, it'll be to the best team who comes out on top after the playoffs. And that's why we play the games.
Hundo P, boys, I'm with you guys. I think that there should be no asterisks, that this will probably be one of the toughest championships to win. The circumstances are so different. They're not in the comfort of their homes. They don't have the home court advantages. There's no fans. So that's going to play a big role. I think it's going to be tough. I think it's going to be grueling. I think even the schedule will be grueling. You add in no flight time and all that stuff, so that's a bonus. But it's going to be tough. I think, and for sure, it's legitimate. So.
And how many playoffs have you seen where everybody's coming in healthy?
Exactly.
Right?
Everyone's rested and healthy.
Rested, healthy, ready to go. So yeah, I think it depends on the narrative that the media wants to put on it.
Right.
And we talked about it before, right?
100%, right? If the Lakers win the championship, okay, you open the lights here, Coach. If the Lakers win the championship, this will be known as the toughest championship ever. That this championship should be worth a couple championships, which would make LeBron the greatest of all time. If the Raptors win the championship, let's throw another giant asterisk by it because of the situation. It's the Raptors. That's the only reason why they won. And that's just how it goes. And that's the way the media works, and that's just unfortunate.
Tell me how you really feel. I agree with you. I think even now, there are so many American pundits who don't give credit to the Raptors for winning. Right? And not that I'm being a Homer fan here, but it's all about the narrative. Every year, you can find some sort of theme to say, oh, this championship was legitimate for this reason or not. Yeah. And for any sport, really, and any sort of event, sporting event, whether it's UFC, Formula One, whatever the case may be, there's always some sort of narrative they have to spin to sell ads, right? And I totally disagree with the idea that this championship is going to be easy for all the factors we've talked about. Like LeBron's talking about, how it's going to be easier. Giannis is saying it's going to be hard. Lots of guys are saying it's not going to be that hard in terms of the news side of things. But you got all these teams stationed there. Everybody's healthy. Everybody's practiced. They're dialing in. very few guys are going to try and break the bubble. We've seen a couple guys going out for their Uber Eats delivery and now are quarantined. But that's just, some young bucks who just didn't think things through. But I totally think that questioning any legitimacy is ridiculous. Is ridiculous.
Drew, you got any thoughts on this? Final thoughts?
Yeah, I gave some of my thoughts. I don't agree with throwing an asterisk beside the championship. I think, like I said before, the teams that were supposed to be in the playoffs will be there. The teams that are supposed to win the championship, we'll see 7-game series to battle it out to see who comes out on top, and that's who's going to win, and that's it.
I guess obviously if people get infected in the league, pauses for a while, and if there's issues that way, then maybe. But
they might just cancel the season at that point.
Yeah. But right now, if it's the Lakers, Clippers, or Bucks that win the championship, this will be the greatest championship of all time. If it's not those three teams, media is going to portray it as, oh yeah, it's that asterisk here. It's just going to be a mess, and it makes me sick. Okay, I'm just sick of it. Don't want to hear it anymore. It's going to be a legitimate championship. Give me a real reason why it's not. Yeah. Come on.
I think NHL has more of an argument to say that it might have an asterisk just because of the whole play-in aspect of it with a shorter series.
Yeah.
Right.
So a team like Montreal, who a 500 team, wouldn't have made the playoffs otherwise. All they have to do is win 3 games, and they get into the playoffs.
Who knows?
True.
Right? So
it's crazy. It's crazy. It's wild. It's a wild time.
I think there's more of an argument there. I still wouldn't, but I'm just saying there's no argument with NBA.
Yeah.
Quickly on NHL, is there any exhibition games before the play-in series?
I don't know. I've seen a bunch of clips of them practicing though, at full speed, which is good to see.
Well, they got 2 weeks, 10 days, 2 weeks.
Also with baseball, it's exciting to start to see the inter-squad games, and I think the Blue Jays are going to be on TV tomorrow.
Woo! Can't wait for that. Okay, before we go anywhere else, let's hear another word from our sponsors.
Are you a car guy? Do you love working on cars, or are you like me and know next to nothing? Either way, the Revolution 6 shop is for you. At the Revolution 6 shop, they do car maintenance and performance customization. They also have their 6 parts online car parts store. Currently, they are selling Track 1 coilovers and fabrication parts. They also sell K-tuned parts for all Honda models. You will find a great price for those parts at the 6 Parts online store. Find them on Instagram at 6 Parts, the number 6, IXPARTS. Find 6 Parts on Instagram. Again, find them on Instagram at the number 6, IXPARTS.
As you may have just heard, Revolution 6 is a racing team, as well as the online 6 Parts store that they were advertising. They're an actual racing team, and they're competing in the Canadian Sport Compact Series. And I want to give a shout out to my friend YN, Junior, Jared, Alba, and the rest of the Rev 6 team as they compete as their season starts July 26th. They've been an inspiration to me because YN is a faith-filled guy, and he's been sharing this verse with his team. And in this industry, this industry is not very friendly to Christianity and faith and all that kind of stuff. And so they've been kind of taking a step of faith that way, especially my friend YN, who's the leader of the Revolution 6 team. He's been sharing this verse with his team, and they put this verse on their race car as well. 2 Timothy chapter 4, verse 7. I fought the good fight. I've finished the race. I've kept the faith. And that's the inspiration he's kind of been sharing with his team and keeping them motivated and encouraging them. A lot of them have had some tough stories, and my friend YN has been just sharing motivation, sharing encouragement, and uplifting them. And that got me thinking about different faith-filled athletes that have inspired me and maybe inspired some of you guys. So that's my question to you guys. Which faith-filled athletes have inspired you? And I'm going to add why. Who's going to go first?
Coach can go first.
Okay.
This is a bit of a throwback, but David Robinson, he really, growing up, he really inspired me because you see a lot of trappings for athletes, from gambling to womanizing to all sorts of things. And he was always so consistent about not only walking the walk, but proclaiming his Christianity. Everybody knew he was a Christian, and he wasn't ashamed to share that. And I think that's something that is brave, for sure, and something that for me personally is hard to do. Not to admit that I'm a Christian, but to like talk about God with people who aren't Christians and just kind of bring that up organically sometimes is something that I definitely struggle with. And to see somebody that committed to not only being a Christian but to fulfilling his obligations to Navy, he could have just said, "Hey, I'm going to the NBA, find a way to get me out." But he went to Navy, did his training, did his tour, whatever he needed to do, and then came into the NBA, foregoing millions of dollars in the process. So that just shows the man's character. And it's kind of how I want to strive to be when I'm playing sports. And, I want to play sports in a way that I'm still going to win and attempt to win, but I show God's love and mercy and all that kind of stuff on the field and in my everyday life. So the biggest thing for me was to take away from David Robinson is live how you want to live according to the Bible. Don't be afraid, and God will use you in ways you have no idea.
Thanks, Coach. How about you, Drew?
Yeah, I was trying to think back to all those sports Bibles that I was given as a kid, and they always had biographies of different players and their testimonies and stuff.
And their pictures.
And their pictures. Those were the coolest Bibles to get. I always 100%. Wanted to. So I remember having guys like James Reimer, who's a goalie, and I was a goalie growing up, and that was really cool. But for this one, I'm really into golf right now, and a guy by the name of Bernhard Langer, he's on the he's on the senior tour, but he's a 2-time Masters champion. And I actually remember last year watching him, like he's cleaning up in the senior tour, like he wins almost every event. But in the event that I was watching, he actually carries around a Bible verse, and he says he's got a new one for every tournament he's in, and he carries it around in his pocket and shares it on camera. And just a super down-to-earth guy, but willing to put himself out there to share about his faith, and that really has inspired me as I treat going to the golf course as a ministry tool. It's opportunities to meet guys, it's opportunities to share what I do, what I love, and yeah, so he's inspired me to do that in my off time, on my days off, as well as what I do for a living.
Love it, Drew. I love it. For me, guys, it's been Jeremy Lin. Jeremy Lin. I was so stoked when he joined the Raptors for their playoff run, and he actually started before the playoffs. He started a prayer chain where he put out this weekly devotional and shared a bit of his heart and shared some of the word. And as the playoffs progressed, as most people know, Jeremy Lin wasn't playing any games. He wasn't playing any minutes. And I'm sure that would have been frustrating. Even when Fred VanVleet couldn't score a bucket at all, like if he's wide open or anything, he was failing horribly. Everyone wanted Jeremy Lin in, and I'm sure he felt a lot of
envy.
There's not a lot of favor in that situation, right? He should have been playing, and still every week he would release his weekly devotional and this prayer chain where hundreds of thousands of people are in this prayer chain, which is really cool. And he's just sharing the gospel and sharing those words. and he's still being so encouraging, still being so motivational, and he's still not showing any of his ugly feelings that he may have had at that time. And even seeing his demeanor on the sidelines, he's up when someone makes a shot, he's cheering his team on, he's going crazy, he's all in about team. And he basically, I love that he uses his platform to be the light everywhere he goes. And even in a season like this where he had to go over, I believe he's in Taiwan, playing for a Taiwan national team there, or not a national team, like their league there, and he's ripping it up there. To me, he should be in the NBA right now. Shout out to the Los Angeles Lakers. If you need a point guard, there's a guy named Jeremy Lin out there that will probably help your team in a major way. But most importantly, he's a team guy. He's a faith-filled guy, and he represents that way. And I want to give him a shout out, which is pretty huge. And he's been inspiring to me.
I've got one to add too. Just
go for it, Drew.
From our hometown Winnipeg Jets, Mark Scheifele.
Yes,
is the team chapel leader.
No way.
Yeah, wow. And as one of the superstars in the NHL, it's just cool to see that he takes on that role. Like I'm pretty sure it's a volunteer role that he takes on to be the chapel leader. He's in charge of organizing when the team's going to have their chapels and calls the chaplain to see when he's available to come in. And it's cool to see as one of the best players, definitely the best player on the Jets, I think, and one of the best in the league.
I love that. I love that. It makes me want to get a Scheifele jersey now. That's awesome.
Hey, birthday gift.
Yeah, there you go. Turning 30. My friends, as you're listening, we still have in the works the Gospel of Sports, talking about different sports reverends, faith journeys in sports, and definitely talking about different athletes that have inspired us along the way. So stay tuned for that as we continue to put that together. And let's just hear one more word from our sponsors, and we'll be right back. With no sports to watch on TV, esports have been shooting off the charts. What are esports, you may ask? Well, basically, it's competitive video gaming. Esports are fun to watch, and my favorite gamer to watch is a guy named Vandalize. Vandalize plays a variety of consoles and games, including the new Call of Duty Modern Warfare and Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. What makes him so unique is that he plays these games with the controller upside down. It is a talent unlike any other. You can check his Twitch stream out, and you can find the link in the Sports Reverends Instagram bio, or you can search him up on Twitch, Vandalized, with 2 Z's or Z's. His control will be upside down. All right, the Sports Reverends podcast episode is over, and we're so thankful that you were able to tune in today. Coach, why don't you tell us about our social media?
Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, for those of you who still use Facebook. I guess eventually we'll have to get a TikTok for the loser of our little contest here. But we post tons of stuff on our Insta stories and polls on our Twitter feed. It's an easy way to engage with us. And if you ever want to let us know what you think about our hot takes, that's one of the best ways to get in contact and vibe with us.
Whoa. You forgot our milestone this week. This week, we hit 2,000 plus subscribers on YouTube. Can someone say 2K?
2K?
That's huge, guys. So thank you so much. Drew, why don't you tell us a little bit about the website?
Yeah, make sure you check out our website, sportsreverends.com. Fill out a poll on there, see if you can beat the Sports Reverends. You can't, but you can try. Yeah,
beat the coach, though.
Make sure you check out the Raptor Report. Yeah, it's awesome.
I love it, guys. We're going to be back later this week, so make sure you tune in, hit download on those podcasts, and we'll see you later. Peace out, world.
Peace.
Peace.